Mistress Lucinda Lacey, sir. A gallant soldier for the cause.
Your most faithful and obedient servant, sir.
My nephew has told me something of your perilous journey and the silver you bring. If we had more of your spirit and devotion, this conflict would soon be over. In gratitude for special service in the field, I give you this. Rise, child. You are the first young lady I have honored thus, Mistress Lacey. You are the younger daughter of Sir Martin Lacey of Arnscote Castle.
I am, Your Majesty.
I hold your father in much esteem. He fought most gallantly at Edge Hill. I pray he is recovered from his wounds.
He is in good spirits, Your Majesty, but in some pain still, though he makes light of it, and pledges continued service.
I am sorry to hear of his discomfort, but am pleased to know that Arnscote is yet spared the war.
It comes very close. There is much concern.
But the castle has strong walls, I am informed.
Strong walls, but without men and cannon to defend them.
Men and cannon are everywhere in short supply, alas, and are needed to fight in the field. It is resilience of the spirit, such as you have shown, Mistress Lacey, that we are forced to rely upon.
But I fear that is insufficient against an armed force, Your Majesty.
God is our armorer.
Our enemies believe the same.
Your father's troop fight bravely.
But in the northeast, sir, on Your Majesty's service, the men are all away. If they might be recalled, or if my brother, Captain Thomas Lacey, and a small troop might be spared from Oxford.
We have no troops to spare from Oxford. Does news of this war not travel to Arnscote? It is beyond our means to defend every rural house, much as we would wish to do so.
But Arnscote is on a direct route.
My compliments to your father, Mistress Lacey.
God save the King. Your Majesty. Join them down there and speak with the King.
What would you say to him, my dear?
I would say, Your Majesty, I am Lucinda Lacey, the girl you rewarded with this medal for bringing my father's silver safely to Oxford. Have you forgotten me? And he would say, Ah, yes, my child. And did you not ask me to send troops in the defense of your home, Arnscote Castle, in case of siege? That's so, Your Majesty. And you never kept your promise. Now Arnscote is defended by a handful of troopers from the estate, my father, who is lame, a few indoor servants, and me. And yet you are to spend the night here. If the Roundhead troopers break into Arnscote tonight, sire, and take you prisoner, it'll be your own fault.
You go down there and say that to his face. You'll soon have your pretty little neck on the executioner's block.
No, Margaret. Could a king be so cruel?
Would your Majesty perhaps care for some other dish?
No, thank you, Lacey. I have but little appetite tonight. Forgive my abstention.
Sir, your chamber is prepared.
Then I will go to it. Good night.
Sir, Miss Lucinda Lacey.
Sit, child. To look upon such pretty innocence again, after the noise and clash of battle, and many days camped with rough soldiers, is like cool balm to my troubled senses. 'Tis 2 long years, is it not, since you won that medal in my cause?
Yes, Your Majesty.
It has pleased God, by many successive misfortunes, to reduce my affairs of late from a very prosperous condition to so low an ebb in the tide of fortune as to be a perfect trial of men's integrity towards me.
I am loyal, sir. As loyal as I ever was.
'Twas my fault alone that our battle was lost this day. I forsook my good nephew's advice and was gulled into following the plan of some silk-tongued courtiers who know naught of war. Know you, Lucinda, whatever else befalls me, there are 3 things I will not part with: the church, my crown, my friends and family. Whether I wish it or no, I am King of England by divine right, and cannot escape that heavy duty. My family is my greatest solace, and should be yours. Take that advice from me. And yet, tonight I think I am the loneliest man in England. My beloved Queen in France, my son, the Prince of Wales, in the West Country, the others in Oxford, and I know not where. Now, leave me, child. I will read your father's Bible, and then to my bed.
I pray to God to preserve Your Majesty, to grant you long life and many happy years.
Child, if God pleaseth, it shall be so, and I must submit to God's will, and you know in what hands I am. Bradshaw, cook. Who are they?
They are but a motley crew, sir.
Poor creatures. They are but the spaniels of the army. Is that not so, Rogue? Although they have not told me, I know full well why I am here. I have no fear of them. God has entrusted me with a power that is sacred. He who knows the secrets of all our hearts has decreed that the safety of the people rests in the will of the sovereign. I hold myself blameless.
And so you are, sir. Sir, a letter from France.
Sweetheart, it is now 4 long years since last we met. 4 long, long years, my dearest wife. And we shall not meet again on this earth, but in heaven.
Charles Stuart, King of England. The Commons of England assemble in Parliament, being sensible of the great calamities that have been brought upon this nation, and of the innocent blood that hath been shed in it, which is fixed upon you as the principal author of it, have resolved to make inquisition for this blood, and according to the debt they owe to God, to justice, the kingdom, and themselves, have constituted this High Court of Justice before which you are now brought. And you shall hear your charge, upon which the court will proceed.
My lord, in behalf of the Commons of England and all the people thereof, I do accuse Charles Stuart, here present, of high treason and high misdemeanors. And I do, in the name of the Commons of England, desire the charge may be read unto him.
Hold a little. By your favor, hold.
Sir, court commands the charge to be read. If you have anything to say after, the court will hear you.
I charge that he, the said Charles Stuart, being admitted King of England, and therein trusted with a limited power to govern by and according to the laws of the land, and not otherwise, yet, nevertheless, he has conceived a wicked design to erect and uphold in himself an unlimited and tyrannical power, to rule according to his will, and overthrow the rights and liberties of his people. On behalf of the people of England, I therefore impeach the said Charles Stuart as a tyrant, traitor, murderer, and a public and implacable enemy to the Commonwealth of England.
Sir, you have now heard the charge. The court expects your answer.
I would know by what power I am called here. I would know by what authority. I mean lawful authority. There are many unlawful authorities in the world, thieves and robbers by the wayside. Remember, I am your king, your lawful king. And what sins you bring upon your heads, and the judgment of God upon this land, think well upon it. I say, think well upon it before you go from one sin to a greater. I have a trust committed to me by God, by old and lawful descent. I will not betray it to answer a new unlawful authority. Therefore resolve me that, and you shall hear more of me.
Sir, I do charge you. Answer in the name of the people of which you are the elected king.
England was never an elective kingdom, but an hereditary kingdom for near these 1,000 years. I do stand more for the liberty of my people than any here that come to be my pretended judges.
God save your majesty!
God, I command you to withdraw the prisoner!
Let me tell you, it is not a slight thing you are about. I am sworn to keep the peace by that duty I owe to God and my country, and I will do it to the last breath of my body. If you do this thing by an usurped authority, you cannot answer. There is a God in heaven that will call you and all that give you power to account.
We are satisfied with our authority. The court will adjourn till Monday.
You have shown no lawful authority to satisfy any reasonable man.
That is in your apprehension. We are satisfied that are your judges.
It is not my apprehension, nor yours neither, that ought to decide it.
Withdraw the prisoner!
I do not fear that.
Every man keep silence upon pain of imprisonment. This court doth command the captain of the guard to take into custody all such persons as shall occasion or make disturbance during the sitting of the court.
May it please your lordship, my Lord President. I did at the last court, in behalf of the Commons of England, exhibit and give to this court a charge of high treason and other high crimes against the prisoner at the bar. My lord, he was not then pleased to give an answer, but instead of answering, did there dispute the authority of this high court. My humble motion is that the prisoner may be directed to make a positive answer, either by way of confession or negation, which if he shall refuse to do, that the matter of the charge may be taken pro confesso, and the court may proceed according to justice.
For the charge, I value it not a rush. But this is not my case alone. It is the freedom and liberty of the people of England, and do you pretend what you will, I stand more for their liberty than you do, for if power without law, may make laws, may alter the fundamental laws of the kingdom. I do not know what subject he is in England that can be sure of his life or anything that he calls his own.
Sir, you appear before this court as a delinquent. The court demands a punctual and direct answer.
Sir, by your favor, I do not know the forms of law. I do know law and reason, although I am no lawyer professed. But I know as much law as any gentleman in England, and therefore I do plead for the liberties of the people of England more than you do. The Commons of England was never a court of judicature. I would know how they came to be so.
Clerk, call upon the prisoner to answer the charge.
I will answer so soon as I know by what authority you do this.
Sergeant-at-Arms, remove the accused. Yes, sir.
I require that I may give in my reasons why I do not answer, and give me time for that.
Sir, it is not for prisoners to require.
Sir, I am no ordinary prisoner.
Gentlemen, it is well known to all or most of you here present that the prisoner at the bar has several times been convened and brought before this court to make answer to a charge of treason and other high crimes exhibited against him in the name of the people of England.
Not half! Not a quarter of the people of England! Oliver Cromwell is a traitor!
Present your muskets! Unmasked, woman! What dram is this that disturbs the court? Come down or I will fetch you down!
As you were.
The court have considered the charge. They have likewise considered the notoriety of the fact charged against the prisoner. And upon the whole matter, they are resolved and agreed upon a sentence to be pronounced against the prisoner.
I desire, before I am sentenced, that I be heard before the Lords and Commons of England assembled. I do conjure you, as you love that which you pretend, the liberty of the subject and the peace of the kingdom, that you will grant me the hearing before any sentence be passed. If I cannot get this liberty, I do protest at such rank injustice, since you will not hear your king.
Sir, you have spoken.
Yes, sir.
And this you have spoken as a father declining...
Are we men?
Be silent, man, or you'll ruin everything.
I'll not be silent. I'll die for it if I must. What are you doing? Are you mad? Can't you sit still and keep quiet?
No, I cannot keep quiet.
No. I am not satisfied to give my consent to a sentence. We have reasons to offer you against it, and desire the court may adjourn to hear them.
If any member of the court be unsatisfied, the court must adjourn. The court will withdraw for a time.
Shall I withdraw?
Sir, you shall know the pleasure of the court present.
This court doth adjudge the said Charles Stuart as tyrant, traitor, murderer, and public enemy to the good people of this nation, shall be put to death by severing of his head from his body.
Sir, this sentence now read and published, it is the act, sentence, judgment, and resolution of the whole court.
Will you hear me a word?
Sir, you are not to be heard after the sentence. Sergeant-at-Arms.
Yes, sir.
I may speak after the sentence. By your favor, sir, I may speak after the sentence. By your favor, sir. I am not suffered for to speak. Expect what justice other people will have. Farah, fetch in my casket, if you please. They will cut off my head and perhaps make you a king. But mark what I say, you must not be made a king so long as your brothers, James and Charles, do live. For they will cut off your brothers' heads when they catch them, and cut off your head too at the last. Therefore, I charge you, do not be made a king by them.
I will be torn in pieces first.
Well spoken. It is for you. You see all the wealth now in my power to give my children. Farah, I would ask a favor of you. Perhaps not an easy one to give.
I am at your command, sir, as always.
I have written down a few words for the morrow. I would hear them spoken, for they are my testament. Con it a while first. Speak when you're ready. Quietly, no great oration.
I forgive all the world, and even those in particular that have been the chief causes of my death. Who they are, God knows. I do not desire to know. I pray God forgive them. As to the people, truly I desire their liberty and freedom as much as anybody. But it is not for them having a share in the government. That is nothing pertaining to them. A subject and sovereign are clear, different things. It was for this that now I am come here. For if I would have given way to an arbitrary power, for to have all the laws changed according to the power of the sword, I needed not to come here. And therefore I tell you, I am the martyr of the people. And so I have delivered my conscience. I have a good cause and a gracious God. I will say no more.
Thank you, Farah. You do me a great service. This clock is for you. Keep it with you, that it may keep time for me until I need time no more. And then it will keep time for you. Good night.
Good night, sir.
Farah, you must stay here. What is the time? bless you for the pains you have been at to give me comfort. I go from a corruptible to an incorruptible crown, where no disturbance can be, no disturbance at all. Remember,
thought to see such a thing. God save the king.
Cruel necessity.